Assalamu alaikum, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Global Economy on KSA2. This is your host, Ahmed Al-Tahini, welcoming you to a new episode of this program. And as usual, we discuss important and hot economic issues, financial and banking issues, and tonight we're going to focus specifically on the insurance industry here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, how developed it is. We will give a historic background of insurance here in Saudi Arabia, and we will also assess the types of services being offered for the customers here in Saudi Arabia of the insurance industry, and we will talk about many issues of the insurance industry. Recently there was a very important symposium, the second Saudi Insurance Symposium that took place here in Riyadh last week, and it focused on important topics, important themes, and also areas of insurance, starting with the public perception, and also it looked at the market research, and it looked at the different types of experiences, the European experience, the UK experience specifically, and the Indian experience, and so on and so forth. We'll talk also about the governance, risk management and compliance, many issues that were covered in the symposium. But before we do that, let me welcome our guest here in the studio, Mr. Sami Al-Ali, CEO of Al-Ahliya Cooperative Insurance Company. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will start our discussion, but after these headlines. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Global Economy. And tonight, as I mentioned earlier, we will talk about the insurance industry here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we will have a general overview of this important industry, this evolving and developing industry. And we will talk about many issues that are really important to you and that concerns you, because everybody or a lot of people care about insurance, be it medical insurance, car insurance, different types of house insurance, and different types life insurance, education insurance, and so on and so forth. So I'd like to welcome again our guest here in the studio, Mr. Sami Al-Ali, who is the CEO of Al-Ahliya Cooperative Insurance Company, to the program. Mr. Al-Ali, can you give us an overview of the insurance scene or the insurance industry here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
Insurance is very old in the kingdom, more than 75 years ago. There was time of King Abdulaziz a system called Sawkara in Arabic. Sawkara, I think it came from the word security. And it began with insuring marine cargo products that are coming to the kingdom that time. Then insurance companies started in the Western Province in Jeddah about more than 60 years ago. And then slowly the number of insurance companies came to be about 80 before 2004. 2004, Saudi Arabia Monetary Agency stepped in as a regulator for the insurance industry in Saudi Arabia and began to regulate these companies. Mm-hmm. They put minimum capital, they put rules, they put whatever. And from that time, there were going to be about 43 companies. Now there are about 34. Mm-hmm. So this is just a very quick summary about
34 insurance companies in Saudi Arabia.
34 insurance companies in Saudi Arabia, according to SAMA website.
Covering all aspects of insurance.
Covering all aspects, yes.
Excellent, excellent. There was a recent symposium here in Riyadh yes. on insurance, which is the second Saudi Insurance Symposium. Yes. And there was a lot of coverage in the news about this, be it in broadcast media or print media. And of course, they talked about the important topics that were discussed. This was patronized by His Excellency Dr. Fahd al-Mubarak, yes. the governor of SAMA, the Saudi Arabian Monetary Agency. In general, how successful was this symposium, and what was the aim of the symposium?
The symposium was very successful, according to the participants, really. Mm-hmm. I met with many of them, and they were highly satisfied. And there was also a survey. I don't have the results with me now, but the general view was a success.
Good.
And this was the second insurance symposium. 2 years ago, there was the first one. And every 2 years, inshallah, we will make an insurance symposium.
Excellent.
The aim of the symposium is to gather all these companies from Saudi and from around the world. The insurance, reinsurance, reinsurance brokers, agents, to a common ground to discuss issues such as, huge claims happen in the world or in Saudi, or
challenges facing insurance industry.
Yes, insurance industries. A lot of issues were discussed. Mm-hmm. Risk management, HR subjects were discussed. And there were many, questions and answers in that symposium.
Excellent. An interesting topic that I see here that Mr. Al-Subaihin, CEO of Ta'awniya,
yes.
spoke about, which is the public perception of insurance in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Well, let's say 10 years ago, people were a bit weary about insurance. They're not sure about it, whether it's religiously okay or not. There was the issue of yes. Halal haram, is it, yes. is it forbidden, is it allowed in Islam or not, and in what way is it allowed? And there was the introduction of cooperative insurance, yes. which the sheikhs and the experts in religion, the muftis said was okay,
yes.
But people are skeptical about a few things. They're not sure about it. How digested is the idea now? Are they at ease with it? A lot more than before?
Yes.
Is it more acceptable now to Saudis?
Yes, it is much more acceptable now. I remember, I don't want to say 20 years ago, people think I'm very old, but it's a fact. 20 years ago, when I used to lecture about insurance, the first question was, is insurance halal or haram?
Mm-hmm. Is it now, forbidden or allowed in Islam?
Yeah, prohibited or not. Mm-hmm. And now the first question comes from the lecture. So there is a change in accepting the word insurance in our life.
Right.
The figures from about 1992, which was the first report done by Ta'awniya at that time about the market, until now show that the growth is of insurance premium is going up, the insurance penetration is going up, insurance density is going up, which means there is more awareness now. Now, these terminologies are regarding insurance.
Right, right.
And I will explain it later.
Sure.
But it shows that there is awareness. Yes, there is compulsory insurance in the middle, but nevertheless, there is awareness, there is more acceptance of insurance now in the kingdom.
So publicly, it is it is perceived as an acceptable operation,
Yes.
and it is essential, and people are more accepting
Yes,
of
yes,
it than
yes.
before. Excellent. What about the volume of business or the money that is being invested? How much is it? Do we have any figures? How much money is invested in insurance in Saudi Arabia?
Regarding premiums, you mean?
Yes.
Well, in 2011, this is from SAMA report for the year 2011, 18.5 billion Saudi riyals was the gross written premium. And this represents a growth of about 13% from year 2010, which was 16.4 billion. So there is a huge growth.
Sure. But in comparison to other countries, is that considered okay, or
No.
is it still in the developing stage?
No, it is still in the developing stage. Now, to compare with other countries, you have to go to other factors. For example, insurance penetration. This is the gross written premium divided by total gross domestic product. So in year 2010, it was 0.97%. In year 2011, it was 0.85%. There is a drop. But the drop, because the national gross national domestic GDP got higher.
Yeah.
So the insurance premium compared to that was lower.
Okay.
And the other factor is the insurance density. This is how much money per capita is paid for insurance. Now, in year 2010, it was 604 riyals per capita. Now it's 682 per capita.
682.
Yeah. Now, in year 2006, it was 293. It was very low, where Bahrain was 1,100. And the industrial countries were 9,300.
Huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Until now, we couldn't even reach to what Bahrain was in 2006.
Right.
We are developing. We will get there, definitely.
If we look at the services being offered to customers here in Saudi Arabia, the insurance services, how satisfied are they? And what is your assessment of insurance services being offered to Saudis?
The services now, there are fire insurance, there are engineering insurance, there are motor insurance, which is very popular because it's compulsory.
Yeah.
Medical, which is also very popular because it's compulsory and it is linked to the passport office.
Okay.
There are marine insurance.
Compulsory for non-Saudis.
Medical, yes. Until now, it is compulsory for non-Saudis.
Okay.
We hope that it will be compulsory for Saudis. It doesn't mean that
That's going to make a
Saudis...
big jump, a big
Yes.
difference.
It doesn't mean that Saudis do not insure. You know, Saudis in the private sector, they insure through their companies. Their companies, they insure them.
Right, right.
But
Government employees are not insured.
no.
They have, I mean, it depends. Some military sectors have their own hospitals,
Yes.
and so on and
Yes,
so forth.
Security Forces Hospital, National Guard Hospital.
Exactly, military
Yeah,
hospitals.
military hospital.
Yeah.
They are...
But civilian
yeah,
government
they have government,
employees are
other
not insured,
government...
are not usually insured.
yeah.
Okay. Are there any talks about this with the government or with SAMA to introduce new regulations in order to make medical insurance compulsory?
Well, maybe CCHI is doing something about it, but I don't have any idea about that. I'm not qualified to answer this.
But they haven't announced anything yet?
No.
That they're in the process of
But we keep
such a regulation?
No, they haven't, but we keep receiving requests. Some companies, they introduce some schemes.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Taawuni, one of them.
Okay.
They have a scheme to insure families, and it's a good start by Taawuniya, really.
Yeah.
I consider Taawuniya our godmother, really, in insurance, because we learned from it.
Right, right, of
So,
course. Yeah. It was the first company that started.
Bupa and Taawuniya, I think.
Yes.
They are,
Right. How about SAMA report? There's an SAMA insurance report that came out, and you mentioned a few figures. For
Yes,
it.
yes.
Can you tell us some interesting and important numbers from that report?
Yeah, I can give you some numbers. For example, Saudization. In 2006, it was 43%.
Okay.
And now it is 53%.
Excellent.
The total employees in the insurance industry is 7,457.
43% in 2006 is that's the percentage of Saudis working in the insurance industry.
No, yeah.
And now it jumped to
53%.
3%.
Yeah. SAMA has made a rule that every insurance company has to have Saudization percentage, some certain Saudization percentage per year.
Okay.
And every company has to follow that rule.
Excellent. Excellent. Good. Any other interesting figures or numbers?
Yes, the gross written premium in 2006 was 6.9 billion. Now it is 18.5 billion.
Wow.
Which is a huge jump.
Of course.
The retention ratio, now when we insure, we have reinsurers. Now this is the reinsurers are companies to insure the insurance companies.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So they insure us, and we have to give them premium also. So I insure you, I give them a premium, and I retain something. Now the retention ratio in 2006 was 62.4%, in 2011 is 72%. Now this is skewed by
growth.
It is, but it is skewed by the motor and medical, which have the more retention in the classes of insurance.
Yes.
But still, it's a good percentage. Claims grew from 3 billion in 2006 to 11.5 billion in 2011.
Right. Right.
And the number of companies, of course, from 80 to 34 now.
Yes.
These are the figures I have from all these years.
Excellent, excellent. So Saudization is a serious business
It is a very serious
for insurance companies.
Yes.
Who do you work with to train your staff in order to make sure that they are equipped with the necessary skills?
Yeah, okay. We train them ourselves. We use IOB because SAMA introduced a certificate.
IOB meaning?
An Institute of Banking.
Okay.
It's part of SAMA.
Right.
Saudi Arabia Monetary Agency.
Okay.
They have also courses, and they introduced a certificate that everybody in insurance must have, which is called the IFC. IFC. Insurance Foundation Certificate.
Okay.
It's a must for everybody.
It's a basic requirement.
It is a basic requirement. You don't have it, you don't work in insurance.
Is insurance taught in our universities? Do they have a BA
No,
in
they
insurance?
have.
Or
They
let's
have,
say, for example, serious professional diplomas in insurance?
yes, I think they do.
In Saudi universities?
Yes, in Yamama College. In,
University.
Yes, Yamama University, I'm sorry. In King Abdulaziz University in Jeddah. They have it. In IOB, they have the ACII. Okay, you can have the ACII, which is a very high British diploma in insurance, associate of the Chartered Insurance Institute.
Wow, this is a very high level of accreditation and qualification.
Yes.
Excellent. Because the universities, Saudi universities, we have about 29 now, or 30 universities in Saudi Arabia. And, especially the new universities are really keen on introducing programs that are linked to the market needs. So I think it's a good chance for you as insurance experts and insurance business people to talk to these universities and say, why don't you work on an insurance program, do you need a 4-year program in insurance, or there's no need for such a long program?
Well, minimum 2 years, minimum.
Right.
But I was invited one time to King Saud University to give a lecture to insurance students there. So even King Saud University.
They have an insurance program?
Now they have insurance program there. So
A BA or a diploma?
it's a diploma, I think.
Diploma.
I think it's a diploma.
That's very good.
But it is very good, yes, because as I told you, 20 years ago there was nothing.
Exactly.
Now there are.
Because since this is an emerging market and developing market,
Yes.
and there's huge potential in the insurance industry and market. I think it's an excellent idea that there's a strong link and partnership between yourselves as business investors and the educators or educational institutions
Yes.
to come up with or introduce programs that really equip young men and women, Saudi men and women, to work in this industry and be professional in this
Yes,
industry.
we have. I mean, I saw many gentlemen, many ladies working in insurance industry from Yamama, from these colleges, which I personally am proud of.
Excellent.
You know, I'm very proud of these people.
Very good.
Very good people, they're knowledgeable. They need a little bit polishing, it's like a little diamond.
Sure.
You know, you have to polish, but they are good.
Excellent. They have the basic starting skills.
Yes.
And then they can develop,
Yes.
as they go along.
And, I wish to see them one day, leading insurance companies.
Absolutely.
Ladies or men.
Absolutely. Excellent. You talked, there was talk about the European experience in regards to insurance fraud and also fraud here, controlling fraud and combating fraud locally and internationally, and there was comparison between the two perspectives, as I can see here in the agenda of the symposium. Tell us about the issue of fraud. How is it a pressing concern? Does it really worry you?
It is.
And how much do companies lose because of fraud?
There was a study about 1.1 billion real from 2005 to 2009. Yeah, that's a lot of money, 200 million
amount, yes.
A year, 220 million a year is a lot of money.
As a result of fraud?
As a result of fraud. Now, fraud is found mainly in medical. It was in motor before when it was rukhsa insurance.
Yes.
Somebody can get anybody else to drive his car and to show that he has rukhsa, and that's it, That's fraud.
Yes, very
And
sneaky,
yes,
tricky.
and insurance companies lost a lot of money that time. Now that the motor insurance is related to the car or to the vehicle, the fraud is very, very minimal. But medical insurance is the place for fraud. Now, you have a lady with a card that can take another lady's card and go and have, some treatment. Now, you can't prove.
It's very serious.
And you can't prove it. Now, European experience. Yes, European experience. They can put the picture of the lady on the card. Here you can't. So you have to think of other ways. Do we put the fingerprint, or what do we do exactly?
Yeah.
It's really a problem.
Fingerprint, I think, is a good idea.
It should be. I think we will come to that stage one day.
Sure.
But it is a nightmare for everybody.
It's causing a lot of problems.
Yeah. Sometimes you find one lady pregnant 2 times a year. It's very impossible.
Well, maybe some of them can handle it. We will continue our discussion with Mr. Al-Ali, ladies and gentlemen, after this report, so let's watch it together.
Ambassador, currently Mr. Muzaffar Akhtar, Managing Director, Turkey, Middle East and Africa, Willis Company. First of all, Mr. Muzaffar, welcome to the show. Good morning. A very special event here today also as it's the second insurance symposium of 2013. First of all, tell us about your participation here and the main goal of it.
Well, first of all, as I discussed, first of all, this is a very important market. It's a growing market, and a lead market for the whole Middle East, I can say. It's a very young market. The youngness did not stop it to become the largest, most important market. It was delayed to come to the international fold, but came very fast, very quick, and growing very fast, very quick. And for us, it's a very important market, as for my company. And am I associated with the Saudi market is too long, till 1982. In 1982, I came to this Riyadh again. I'm invited because they was planning to introduce insurance. And the guy who, from the ministry, appointed to do this job, he invited me to look into regulation he prepared before he submitted to the minister. And I came and stayed for 2 days in his house, gone through all this legislation he prepared. But since then, of course, it took too long insurance to be recognized and become officials.
For example, when the issue is, for example, a crisis, something that's not meant to be, from your point of view, the effect on the country's economy with these insurance companies, do you think it's important? Do you think the insurance also play a big role in the country's economy?
I do, because the insurance industry, if you look at London, for example, I believe now that in the City of London, the largest single number of employees are in fact in the insurance industry. I think that's because a lot of bankers have moved to a new area a bit further east in the Canary Wharf area. But so there's a huge benefit in London, in the financial service industry, from having a large number of insurance companies. The same will happen here, because it will help the investment industry. It will help all aspects of the country as it develops to invest their money and to use their money to give greater capacity to the insurance industry. This is a natural process, and to the extent that the world international economic crisis is impacting on Saudi Arabia, I mean, as we've seen, it had very little impact on Saudi Arabia because the Saudi authorities, SAMA and the government, wisely did not go in for these crazy investments that the rest of the world rushed into in 2006, 2007, when the crisis was really building. Everybody thought in the West that they'd found the secret of making money forever. And as we know, it was a bubble, and it burst in 2008. And so the Saudi government watched while the rest of the world had to run and find, as it were, a way out of this mess. Happily, it didn't really affect the Saudi economy, which has been growing steadily based on its own natural resources and its natural talent. And so, I mean, for people, many people like us abroad who are working in many different markets, the Saudi market is an obvious place to come, because here we have steady growth, stable management, and no sort of economic bubble to deal with. So I think you survived the economic downturn here very well, and the rest of us in other parts of the world are still having to deal with the consequences of it. But in a time of economic difficulties in Europe and America, Saudi Arabia is a natural place for us to look to help build relationships and build our business, because the economy is very sound.
Sounds very well. I know we're talking about a bit of your time, Mr. Anthony. One last question. Can we say that insurance currently, when we speak about banking sector, now the insurance sector, it's one of the most safest investments, let me say, in the Gulf, in the Kingdom, in the world? Or do you think we still don't reach that much? I mean, speak for insurance, it's an easy way to profit money.
I would say that insurance is a good investment if it's got good management. whenever you invest in any industry, it doesn't matter, it could be children's toys, it could be banking, it could be the oil industry. What you're investing in is actually in management. So I think that people who have invested in insurance industry, whatever aspect of it, providing they've got good management, so they can handle the investment side, they can handle the underwriting side, they're competent people with international experience, it's going to benefit the country. It's a good investment, yes. But I say it all comes back to management, like everything else.
Mr. Anthony, how do you see the future of insurance?
Well, I think it will grow. The wonderful thing for us about the kingdom is that, as I say, we have a stable background from which to operate, and there is good growth potential. It will grow in all parts of the world. I mean, it's now getting back on its feet, the economy. And what damaged the industry so much in the West is that the investments which the insurance companies and reinsurance companies had made proved to be badly damaged by the crisis. Here, the same hasn't occurred. So I think with good management, and what I like very much about Saudi Arabia, uniquely in this region, is that the bulk of your expertise is Saudi. So we're working with Saudis on Saudi issues. That's a very good platform. I think Sama's approach has been very safe and secure. We're under pressure ourselves to make sure that we hire Saudis. We've got 2 very good ones working in our small company already, and we're going to hire some more. So the future of insurance, I think, is it's a solid part of the financial services sector. It's a good opportunity for young Saudis to get expertise. They can go abroad, see how the industry works in other countries, bring that expertise back and help it grow in the kingdom. So I think if I had to select in the financial services industry one part which is going to benefit and grow steadily, it would be insurance. I'm very optimistic about the insurance industry in the kingdom.
First of all, thank you very much for allowing me to have a word. The symposium is not the first one, it's the second one that Saudi Arabia holds. Its main objective is to reach out to the public and to increase the awareness about insurance. So to make sure that the public is aware more about insurance, the benefits of insurance, and why insurance. How can it benefit the economy and benefit the consumer in Saudi Arabia. So hopefully the event today will achieve that objective.
Hopefully. Mr. Amr, another important question I would like to ask you. Speaking of which, insurance currently in the Saudi markets, let me say it's growing stronger and stronger. It's not, for example, compared to banking, which has been here for much longer time, but insurance, I would think it's been there for almost a decade, maybe over a decade, a little bit, but currently hitting the market strongly. How important do you see the insurance business in the kingdom and the benefit that the economy will benefit out of it?
Insurance in the kingdom is very important, and I think insurance will show its importance in the next few years. It is still, as an industry, it's still in its babyhood compared to banking, but it will catch strength, and it has a lot of potential, and the kingdom will benefit from it immensely. Currently, the insurance in the kingdom is well known because of medical and motor, because they are 2 compulsory lines. But there will be other insurances that will come to the horizon very soon. مؤسسة النقد SAMA is working on implementing the new regulations for mortgages, الرهن العقاري. So basically this will also introduce some certain insurances that the public need to take in order to buy homes, to insure such purchases with mortgages, so on and so forth. So we're just scratching the surface at the moment. The potential is very big.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Global Economy. This was our report on the latest Saudi Insurance Symposium, the second one. With me in the studio is Mr. Sami Al-Ali, CEO of Al Ahliya Cooperative Insurance Company. I'd like to welcome him again to the program.
Thank you.
We've been talking, we covered many issues. We gave an overview of the insurance industry. We highlighted, we shed some highlights on the insurance symposium. We talked about the services being offered. But let's talk about the prices in the insurance market. Is there a a war. People talk about the fact that some companies really go down to ridiculous prices, and some of them are still keeping to certain prices in order to ensure quality of services. So can you tell us about this? Is there a price war, and what's happening?
Well, maybe we can call it a war, but it's not really that big of a war. This is mainly concerned with medical and motor, because they are compulsory and they are mass production.
Sure.
So companies would like to have a bigger share in the market than other companies. So what they do is reduce prices. So other companies will reduce more. And this will reflect badly on the profitability of the company, because the loss ratio in medical and motor will go high. Now, SAMA has controlled this by compelling every company to use the actuary services to see if this price which the company is offering is okay or not, and what the price should be. So the actuary will take the data of medical or motor, and motor of course, and he will do the analysis. And then he will say, look, you are charging 300? No, now you have to charge 550. So SAMA now is compelling the companies for medical from 1st of January 2013 for medical, and from 1st of April 2013 for motor, to use these prices of the actuary. And there will be punishment.
So it's not a free market anymore?
No, it is a free market. SAMA is not saying pay, charge this. SAMA wants to make sure that the prices are adequate.
Okay.
Now, whether this is 500, whether this is 600.
While maintaining quality?
While maintaining quality, yes.
Okay.
But they are not saying it is not a tariff country, like
right.
Before India was like this, Egypt was like this. The government imposes a rate. This is the rate. Take it or leave it.
Okay. Okay.
SAMA is not doing this. SAMA is saying use your experts to determine the price you should sell the policy with.
But there's always a minimum.
And this is the minimum.
Okay. Okay.
This is the minimum. So we will see from 1st of April, prices of motor will go up, of third party liability, yes.
Okay. Okay. Because of this one price or this minimum that they cannot go below?
Yes.
Right.
Each actuary, by the way, each company could be having a different price. Like, for example, Taawniya could have 600, Ahliya could have 550, Mid-Gulf will have 450. It depends on their analysis. Maybe they afford to sell at these prices.
Exactly.
So,
it is their own decision.
Yeah.
But it has to bear in mind the SAMA regulation.
yes.
Right. In your opinion, why is it that some companies, before 2004, I think, or 2005, were able to rip off a lot of people and give them false information? They said that they insured their cars or they had medical insurance, but they actually didn't keep their promises, these companies. A lot of people are so unhappy about this.
We have to bear in mind, before SAMA regulation, there were about 80 companies. Now, not all of them were bad. There was NCCI, which is Taawniya, which is a government, semi-government company, registered that time. And there were about 15 or 20 companies, let us call them the cream of the market.
Okay.
So out of the 80, there were really about 20 are excellent companies, good companies, out of which you see all of them now operating under SAMA regulation.
Because they were based on solid grounding.
Yes,
and
solid
were
ground, and they were professional, and we cannot ignore this. Now, some companies, they came and started to do this hanky-panky business. Now, the problem with the insurance industry and this hanky-panky business is people start generalizing. You know,
That all
insurers are
companies
crooks.
are really bad.
I am a civil engineer originally, and when I joined insurance, I hesitated a lot. I said all insurance are crooks. And I'm supposed to be educated and know what insurance is, but because we see around us what happens, so we generalize. All insurance companies are
there's
crooks.
wrongdoing and wrong practices.
And unfortunately, it damaged the insurance industry.
But were these companies actually convicted, or were they punished in any way because they stole people's money?
I don't have any information.
Okay, right,
I don't have any information about them anymore.
right.
But
They vanished.
They vanished. They don't exist anymore. Now you have
Hit and run.
Yeah. Now you have 34 good companies in the market.
Officially registered
Yeah,
and
officially.
operating according to proper regulations and everything.
Yes, and under some regulation.
Okay. And of course, there's always the competition. The spirit of competition is always there.
Yes, there
Between
is.
these companies within certain constraints and limits.
Yes.
And bearing in mind the quality of the services and the well-being of the insured
Yes.
customers. Right. When it comes to awareness and making people really understand what insurance is all about, do you have any like PR or media activities to enlighten people about what insurance is all about, understanding what policy means, how they can protect themselves from any rip-offs or any fraud, understanding the basic terminology of insurance, understanding the different types of insurance available to them. Do you make any like road shows or let's say public announcements or
No, but
events?
I think the committee, the training and awareness committee, which I am part of, which we did the second Saudi symposium, I think we should really seriously look into this. We should teach the public what is insurance, what is the principles of insurance.
Okay.
Is it really gambling, or is it a necessity, or what it is exactly? The policy, what does it contain? How to read the policy? Because to any non-insurance person, and a lot of insurance people, the policy is like hieroglyphics. They look at it, they cannot understand.
Don't comprehend everything in it.
No. And a lot of sales people selling retail policies now in the kingdom, they don't understand what the policy covers.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's very serious.
it is. So we really need to educate them also.
Because you need to know your customer, but before you know your customer, you need to know your product.
I want my
Before you know your
salesperson
customer.
to
It's
explain.
really important to understand what you're selling.
I want him to explain to the customer before he sells him. Look, the policy is like this. This means this. This means this.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
means this.
All the
But nobody
little
does it.
details that they and the rules
Yeah.
and everything that they are.
But I am
supposed to
talking
do.
about retail. I'm not talking corporate. Is a different issue.
Of course, yeah.
The salespeople in corporate are well educated. They have ACII, they have other certificates of insurance, they understand exactly,
yeah.
they explain the policy to the corporate body, what it contains, what everything. Yes.
No, but you see, in retail, you have masses of people.
Yes.
You know, you have a lot of people, and these people, you know, they could use word of mouth. You know, they could, if they're happy, you know, they would really reflect a good image and reputation of the company. If they're not happy, imagine all types of rumors and wrong information about the company.
I think insurance companies should get together in one of these committees, you know, like this training and awareness committee, which did the symposium, in making roadshows.
Okay.
I think the public deserves to learn about insurance and how important it is. And now, you know, because you can hear the public and know that they don't have a clue. They say, you know, like motor insurance, they say Murur insurance. Because, you know, you cannot get your driver license or registration until you have it. And the other one, they call it Jawazat insurance.
Yeah, the
the
passport,
medical.
yeah.
It is not, they think the government imposed some taxes under this insurance which called Jawazat. It is completely wrong. It's a medical insurance. Your employee can use the card and get treated.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do not understand this. We should educate them.
Absolutely. I mean, you always have, I mean, the campaigns are possible. You can use many tactics and tools to do that. What is your message to the ordinary people, you know, people who need insurance, but they're not sure, they don't really understand it? Some basic things that you can tell them about insurance in general.
Insurance is a necessary thing in life.
Okay.
It doesn't prevent disasters, but it can really lessen the impact a lot more than if you don't have insurance. They need to understand what they are buying.
Sure.
Yes, the policy of this company looks like the policy of that company. And I'm not talking about the policies which are from SAMA or CCHI, the medical motor. I'm talking about others, because SAMA and CCHI, they have unified policy. So Al-Ahliya use the same as Ta'awniya, the same as Midgal, the same as Bupa, the same as... This is a unified policy. But I'm talking about other products. Now, for home insurance, for example, try to ask. It is not really shameful to ask about a policy. What does it cover? Show me. How do I know this is covered?
Extremely necessary
It is.
to ask and
People need
understand
to
what it
ask.
is that you're buying.
Yeah. And of course, the insurance companies also need to explain, even before they ask.
Yes.
We shouldn't wait until they ask us to tell them. We should really educate them.
Does the customer get a chance to take a copy of the policy and take it home, think about it before they sign and before they buy it?
Yes. The policy,
is it available on the website of the company?
It should be, yes.
For the customer to go and read it, digest it, and maybe consult a lawyer or somebody to check, you know, that everything is legal and
yes, it's
everything's
available.
in order?
The policy is just a document. It's like a contract, employment contract. The contract of Sami is the same as contract of Muhammad, is the same as contract of Ali or whoever. But what is the difference is the mulhaq, you know, the
supplement.
The supplement. This will say
appendix,
Sami salary this, Muhammad salary this. So the insurance company policy is the same, but the schedule is different.
Mr. Sami Al-Ali, thank you very much for being with us in the program.
Thank you for having me.
And we hope that our viewers, inshallah, were educated about some basics of insurance and important messages about insurance. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our program. We talked about in the insurance industry here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. There's a lot, of course, on the internet about this. And especially on the second Saudi Insurance Symposium. You can find a lot of interesting topics. Thank you for watching. This is Ahmed Al-Tahini, wishing you a very good night.